On December 13, 1937, the Imperial Japanese Army breached Nanjing's defenses after weeks of relentless bombing. Over 200,000 Chinese soldiers and civilians were trapped as the city fell. Eyewitness accounts describe streets littered with corpses, while survivors recalled a deafening roar of artillery and the acrid smell of burning buildings. The Japanese 6th and 16th Divisions systematically dismantled resistance, marking the beginning of 6 weeks of horror. Historical records show that within the first 72 hours, over 10,000 civilians were executed near the city gates. Japanese commanders ordered civilians and surrendered soldiers to assemble at Zhongshan Square, falsely promising safety. Over 50,000 men were registered as former combatants under international law protections that were immediately violated. Declassified military logs reveal premeditated plans to dispose of these groups. Survivor testimonies describe families being separated, men forced into trucks, while women and children were herded into makeshift camps. This systematic gathering enabled the subsequent massacres, with entire neighborhoods emptied within days. At the Yangtze River's banks, industrial-scale executions occurred daily. Prisoners were bound with hands behind backs, forced to kneel at mass graves before being bayoneted or shot. Declassified photos show frozen blood staining the snow red for miles. The 10th Army's records boast of disposing of 19,000 in one night using machine guns. International observers like John Rabe documented victims surviving initial volleys, only to be buried alive under layers of bodies, a brutality calculated to terrorize remaining survivors. The International Safety Zone, established by Westerners like Minnie Vautrin, became hunting grounds for Japanese troops. Over 20,000 women were dragged from refugee camps, some as young as 9, to be gang raped in military brothels or alleys. Hospital records show victims with mutilated genitals from bayonet wounds. Soldiers followed a pattern, breaking doors at night, shooting male relatives, then assaulting women for days before often murdering them. This sexual violence was so widespread that post-war tribunals classified it as biological warfare. In January 1938, Japanese units systematically torched Nanjing's cultural landmarks to erase evidence. Over 1/3 of the city burned. Libraries with Ming Dynasty archives, Confucian temples, and even the Nanjing Museum's 170,000 artifacts. Military orders specified complete incineration of massacre sites. Aerial photos show entire blocks reduced to ash, with only pagodas' skeletal frames remaining. This destruction, combined with seized or altered documents, fueled decades of Japanese denial until unearthed mass graves and foreign diaries proved otherwise.